Okay, there are 3 ways that are pretty common to set up. One, the first 2 start from out here, where you're on this side of the bar. The one that I prefer to see you do, where I know that I can guarantee you're going to get the most amount of tension in your quads. You're going to feel like your quads want to explode, like you are going to have a quad rupture near the kneecap because your legs are driven in there so hard that they feel like they want to explode. And when you're giving the proper leg drive, the best way that I can describe it is to feel that you're pushing through your toes down and outward as if you're in a rolling chair and you're getting wedged in and you're getting ready to shoot yourself backwards across the room as hard as humanly possible. That is the amount of tension that you're driving into the floor and into your shoulders from the feet. Now, before I show you how to get set up from the back, the first thing I want to talk about is scapular retraction. So we all know you've heard about scapular retraction. We all know that you've been told that you need to squeeze your scapulas together. You need to get wedged in there and make sure that those things are pressed this way and that you're closing them in. I'm going to tell you right now to stop telling people that. I'm going to tell you right now that anybody that tells you that does not necessarily know what scapular depression is. Scapular depression is not pushing my shoulder blades in this way. Scapular depression is me taking my shoulder blades and pushing them and pulling them down into my back pocket. So, the question that everybody has is, well, Chris, how do I feel scapular depression? How do I make sure I set my scaps properly? I'm going to tell you how to set your scaps right now. This is the secret. This is the big reveal. This is the thing that's probably missing from all of your guys' bench presses. What you need to know is that when you're doing scapular depression, the easiest way to feel it is to be like Arnold. You need to do a side pose. Just kidding. But what I want you to feel is I want you to feel like you're lifting your chest up. And the best way to do it is from the zombie. So let me show you the zombie. Put your arms in front of you. You're doing the zombie. I'm a weirdo. I'm a zombie. I'm at the gym. I just come in and train. Okay, that's a joke too. First thing that you're gonna do is you're gonna put your hands out in front of you. When you do that, I want you to perk your chest up like you're Arnold. I want you to pick your chest up as high as possible. Watch what happens. See how I'm flexing my chest? Watch what I'm doing. I'm flexing my chest. But I want you to put your hands in front of you to feel this. Because this is where your hands are going to be when you're holding the bar. So when you put your hands in front of you like the zombie, and you pick your chest up high, your shoulders have to come down to lift your chest up. Watch what happens to my scapulas when I do the zombie. Watch my scapulas. See what just happened there? Do you see the depression? When I bring the chest up, the scapulas retract down. What that's going to create is proper scapular depression, where your scaps are going to be down and out of the way. Then what I want you to think about when you're setting yourself up on the bench is that I don't want you to think about setting your scapulas on the bench. You see, if you're wedged into the bench like this, and you're sitting there and you're trying to press these in, and you're sitting on top of them, I can already tell you that you are not in the proper position. What I want you to do is with your scapular depression, the way I'm teaching you with the zombie, when you get on the bench, think about the flat part of your neck and your trap is the only thing that's on the bench. Your neck is as flat as possible to the trap with the scapular depression movement. You see how that looks? When you learn to get just on the back of your neck and the trap on the bench with the leg drive, you're gonna feel like this, you're gonna look like this, and when you lower that bar down, it's gonna set, it's gonna come up. Your shoulder pain is gonna go away. Your uncomfortable feeling in your elbows are gonna go away. You are gonna understand what it feels like to have true scapular depression. So, with that said, now I'm gonna show you how to set it up. And another cue that I didn't add, let me add this cue before we get to that part. When you have the scapular depression properly done, you're literally, am I still in the frame? You're literally here, and you do the scapular depression. Look at it from the side when I'm standing up. You see what just happened here? Look at it from every angle. I'm puffing my chest up like I want to be Arnold. See this? I'm puffing my chest up, but my arms are in front of me. I want you to think long neck. If you think about a string pulling your head up this way, look, string is pulling your head up this way while you're pulling your scaps down, it's going to make your neck very long. When you're in this position, setting up from the back, I want you to think about long neck. Now I'm going to show you what it should look like. Okay, what you saw me do in the setup is the way I want you to repeat the setup, and I'm going to explain how to do it and why to do it. A lot of people do it from right here, and they grab the bar, and then they spin themselves underneath, and they get set up, and their feet are here under themselves. If I leave my feet right here, even if I put them in front of me, when I swing all the way out, I want you to see what happens. My feet are on my toes, almost breaking off, and they are way too far behind me to try to bring them forward. See, I'm trying to bring them forward? Okay? I don't like that. Another way I see people do it, and we're gonna eliminate this step, is that they start from here. They get the bar, and they're here. And they got their feet out here, and there's no rhyme to reason to what makes it work every single time. And then they set up, and then they pull the bar out. This is a foolproof way of making this setup work for you every single time. What I want to see everybody do is, I want you to lay flat on the bench. I want you to move as far up the bench as you can this way, away from the bar, so that your arms are straight, like your arms are being pulled, like you're straight back with your chest pumped up, remember from the last part, but your arms are directly straight out. When you do that, you're gonna look like this. See where I am? I'm way behind the bar, but my arms are straight. So, the key to that position is this. Once you are in that position, your feet here either go directly perpendicular to the floor, not parallel, perpendicular. Perpendicular is a right angle, do you remember? Directly perpendicular with the floor. If your feet are directly perpendicular with the floor, while you're that far back, when you stretch and set up on the neck, on the trap, you will be in the perfect position every single time. From there, you can play with it and make minor tweaks and adjustments. Let me show you how it looks. Long arms, my feet are perpendicular from this position. I'm as far back as I can be. I cannot get any further back, and if I come any closer, my arms are bent. That means this position's not working. So, long arms, feet perpendicular to the floor. From here, I can pull myself up to the bar. And then I can stretch myself out where I'm stretching my quads. My quads feel like they want to stretch out at the knee. Now I'm tight in the core, I'm tight in the low back, I'm tight in the quad, and my leg drive is off the hook. And because I'm doing the long neck, and because I have my scapular depression, when I go to take the bar out, it wants to move over here. It doesn't want to go up and out. My lats are so tight that when it wants to just come out of the J-cups and move right to the start position. So, long arms, feet perpendicular to the bench in that position behind the bench with the long arms. The stretch of the quads as you move forward, getting up on your neck. Now, let's cover the breath. When do you take your breath? There are 3 places to take your breath. They all 3 work, It's which one is more optimal to you. You can take your breath back here. Let me show you. You can take your breath right here. Listen to me take my breath. And I never let go of the breath. You can take the breath here. I like that method over the first one. And now the way I do it is here. Why do I like to take my breath once I'm here? I like to take my breath once I'm here in the final position before I unrack, because you're going to have to hold your breath the entire rep. You're going to have to hold your breath from the unrack to the start command to the press command, almost to the rack. Once you get it back and locked out while you're waiting for the rack command, you can begin to breathe again. But if you take your breath back here and then you set up and then you unrack and then you get a start and then you get a press, you might start feeling like you're going to pass out. Now I am here to let you know that when you start seeing black and blue and you start feeling like you're going to pass out, you have about 7 to 12 more seconds of strain before you actually do. So don't give up the fight. But again, if you take the breath back here before you do any of the setup, you're going to be holding your breath the longest, increasing the chance of feeling like you're going to pass out. So it's best to take the breath, in my opinion, once your neck is flat on the bench. And remember, long neck. You're going to have a long neck right here and a trap. No part of your scapula, well, maybe the upper part, but the neck and the trap are going to be what's on the bench. The leg drive is going to be driving you back into the neck and the trap. That's going to engage, and with that Arnold scapular rotation, the bar is going to float out of the J-cups. It's going to float out right here to the start position every time. You are going to feel much more efficient in the movement. Thank you all. Okay, the last great part that I forgot to mention, which is what all of you who are doing competition bench press in powerlifting need to remember. Your butt has to stay on the bench. When you get set up in this position, I'm trying to lift my butt off the bench right now. Look, I'm trying to lift my butt off the bench. Can you see me trying to lift my butt off the bench with my legs? Guess what? My butt's not going anywhere. That is a lot of information. My butt is not going anywhere, okay? Now let me show you what other lifters are doing to set up with their butt in the air, and obviously why when they're bench pressing and the weight gets heavy, their butt will go back into that position up in the air. The way I just showed you is foolproof. That's right, I'm gonna say it. Your ass will never come off the bench ever. You will never get a red light for your butt coming off the bench if you do the setup like that. Now let me show you this. Look how I got my ass in the air to unrack. Now I put my butt down. Well, watch this. Oh, look, I can lift my butt in the air. Oh boy, I can lift my butt in the air. That's why you keep getting red lights and your butt comes off the bench. Because you've already started and unracked the bar in a position showing that your butt can come up off the bench. That's a no-no. And everybody I see doing it, y'all need to stop doing it.